Welcome to Your Max Podcast Now. Many were a bit disappointed that Apple didn't devote any time during the iPad 2 unveiling to talking about iOS 5, says M.G. Sigler of TechCrunch. But there may be a very good reason for that. Perhaps it's not coming anytime soon. In fact, the plan right now is to launch iOS 5 in the fall, reports two solid sources. If these sources are right, this would break the pattern of Apple unveiling the latest iOS iteration in the early spring, leading up to a summer launch alongside new iPhone hardware. Rumors have quickly spread that there may be another event in April to talk specifically about iOS 5 and MobileMe. And other rumors are iOS 5 will launch in the fall and will be a major revamp of the OS. It may be previewed at WWDC, but it just won't be released then. The iOS 5 launch is also likely to coincide with the release of a new type of iPad. The new iOS will be heavily built around the cloud, and we could see several new services launched from Apple that take advantage of this. One of those is very likely a music locker service. There is also a fall launch aim for this during Apple's annual music-themed event. One of the new cloud service elements is likely a location service that focuses on finding friends and family members. And OS X Lion is still on pace for a summer release, and some of the new cloud components are likely to be baked into it as well. So the next question is, where does this leave the iPhone 5? TechCrunch hasn't heard any iPhone news, but they're guessing that it's still on track for a WWDC unveiling and release shortly thereafter. If that's the case, it will just be released with a version of iOS 4. And more concerning the music locker rumor. Wayne Rosso of the Music Void reports that Apple is reportedly pushing hard to relaunch their new and improved MobileMe service this April, but what hasn't been mentioned is that they're pressuring major record labels to have all of the music licenses in place for the locker service just mentioned. Informed sources say that Apple has sealed its deal with Warner and has been using that agreement to leverage the other labels to get the deals done in time for the April launch. The locker service will reportedly have approximately a $20 annual price tag. These same sources say that although Universal Music and EMI are more or less pushovers, Apple may actually get some pushback from Sony. Sony corporate has declared sensu on Apple and could hold out just to mess with them. And finally, nearly half of the London Underground's 270 stations are being outfitted with Wi-Fi access ahead of the 2012 Olympic Games, according to Lauren Indvik of Mashable. London Underground commuters got their first taste of subterranean internet access in October 2010 when a 6-month test funded by UK broadband service BT brought Wi-Fi hotspots to the Northern and Bakerloo Line platforms, as well as the ticket hall at the Central London station. The test was deemed successful, and now the London Underground is inviting telecom companies to bid for a contract that would bring Wi-Fi to 120 of London's stations by June 2012. Users of the service will only be able to connect to the Wi-Fi, however, on the platforms and not in the trains themselves. Meanwhile, Transit Wireless LLC is working with New York City Transit to bring Wi-Fi to New York City's subway system. Singapore, Berlin, and Tokyo already offer Wi-Fi access in their respective underground metros. Truth triumphs fiction. And the judge's ruling? San Antonio. A jury will decide whether a dethroned Texas beauty queen who claims pageant organizers harassed her about her weight regains her title. The 5 men and 7 women began a second day of deliberations this past Thursday in the dispute between 17-year-old Dominique Ramirez and Miss San Antonio organizers. The title holder gets a shot at becoming Miss Texas and possibly Miss America. The size 2 Ramirez contends organizer told her, quote, "Get off the tacos," end of quote, before she was stripped of her crown in January. Pageant officials say weight wasn't the issue and that the teen was unreliable, showing up late for events, not writing thank you notes, and blowing off physical fitness and vocal programs. Ashley Dixon, who was runner-up to Ramirez, was crowned Miss San Antonio in a courtroom last month. And, while we're at it, here's a little known fact. I was Miss San Antonio 3 years running back in the 60s. And oh, could I run. Hey, you had the weekend off, now it's back to the Magic Apple Kingdom. Remember, boys and girls, we're here every day, and you can also visit the site, www.ympnow.com, where I have my freshly squeezed reviews. Plus, you can also, if you're on your mobile device, go to that site and you can make yourself a web app so you don't have to keep searching for the thing. The thing, of course, being this podcast. So anyhow, this is Miss San Antonio reminding you to download, double-click, and drop out.